Hello and welcome back to the Repeat Digital podcast. This week we're going to be going straight into it and talking about, are Google Ads worth it for small business? So where should we start on this one then? Should we just look at the sort of costings and how expensive it is for the average small business?
Yeah. That's a great place to start.
That's a fantastic place to start, yeah.
So in terms of like how much small businesses should spend on Google, it really depends on the industry itself, and how much they're willing to spend. And I think one way of putting that into like figures and trying to find a budget is to see what marketing spend they're using at the moment, and if there is anything left, or whether they're going to be taking any marketing spend from other channels that they're already using. For example, if they are doing traditional advertising, if they're going to move away from that to digital advertising, just using the spend from there.
Yep.
But also looking at maybe their profit margins, and also looking at in terms of if there's anything left over.
Sure.
Or
yeah.
if they're getting money from investment elsewhere, what can they use in terms of like creating a budget for their marketing spend.
So say if a customer comes to us and they have £500 to play with.
Yeah.
In terms of budget. So what's your first what would you look at first when they come to you with that?
It's the cost per clicks really. Just doing that research, how competitive it is. So we're dealing with a client at the moment that's just about to sign with us, and they're doing sort of bulk SMS services, and their cost per clicks are £6, which is on the heavy side. So they generally need a bigger budget. Purely because they're not going to get enough people to their website for us to be able to use the data and test it and see what's working and what's not, and it's just going to take a lot longer for them to get results. But whereas a company that has a cost per click that's a lot lower, of say £1, they're going to get 6 times as many clicks as that other company. So that's 6 times more data.
So you're saying it completely depends on what the user's searching for to end up on their website, and it's going to cost a varying amount based on that keyword.
Yeah, no, exactly. So it's all an auction, isn't it? So all keywords are different prices, and prices generally reflect the industry and how much the clients can get out of it. So for example, we've got a photographer client. So this, when we say small business, this is a one-man band photographer. And he sent me a text the other day saying he's got about 20 grand's worth of business last year, and he was really happy. And that's with a sort of a total spend of £5,000 for the whole year, including our management.
That's awesome.
So if you do the math, then that's a pretty good ROI. And the best thing about it is it's recurring revenue. So this year he'll get some more from that.
Yeah, you do need to look at like the lifetime customer value when you're sort of taking into account your cost per click and your margins really when you're looking at your advertising spend and what you're getting out of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we do quite well actually, is when we sort of we get clients come to us saying they want to do PPC, and we will look at the keywords, how much they cost, and then how much we think a new customer is worth to them, along with the actual chance of them getting that customer. So we can say, look, we think if you spend this much, you will get this much out of it. And I think that's just brilliant, so people have an understanding of what they can actually get in terms of a return.
Yeah, no, it makes sense, because it makes sense on our part, because we don't want to take on clients that it's not going to work for. So if we can have an idea if their budget's enough for their industry, and we can get enough data and we can get enough sort of conversions for them to make them happy, then that's amazing, because we don't want to. We'd get a bad reputation if we took on people and wasn't able to deliver the results.
Yeah, that's completely right. That is completely right. And I think as well with small businesses especially, where their marketing budgets will probably be slightly lower, you need to make sure you are getting a return, because it's so easy to just waste money and not have anything to show for it. And I think it is so important that you make the most of what you have in terms of your budget. So what's good about Google Ads in terms of being able to do that? What features are there that we can sort of utilize to make sure that we're getting the most out of it?
I think one of the most important things is every time we work with a client, we need to make sure that they have a website first of all.
Yeah.
It's just the simple stuff, but also making sure that website is converting. And we can also track conversion, so we know what the efforts that we are doing in terms of the PPC and the campaigns that actually are resulting in sales. And for us to actually track those sales and those leads, it's important. So then that way we can optimize and make things better and improve on those.
It's easy to waste
Yeah.
money as well, isn't it? Like I think we all know like negative keywords are so important because you'll get a new client, and it happens even after we've set up these lists, where someone will search for something and there's a keyword in there that is just completely wrong, and you're like, oh god, I really shouldn't have left that one in there, but at least that you check it, and next time they won't appear for that search term, and you're stopping that wasted money. Which sometimes I think if you're trying to do Google Ads yourself, or if you're using an agency maybe who set it and forget it, that's a risk you're going to take if you don't really understand what you're doing.
Of course, and with Google, there's lots of other ways of minimizing wasted spend. For example, using ad schedules and device adjustments and so forth as well. Really helps those small businesses make the most of their money by reducing showing ads outside of working hours, also reducing spend on ads on certain devices, such as mobile or desktop.
Exactly. And Google's always trying to sort of get as much as money out of you they can through things like Google Ads Express. Also, the default way you put keywords in would be broad match. And obviously broad match is something we kind of say no to. Purely because...
How many no's, sorry?
How many was it? Was it 4 or 5?
No. I think that's 5, yeah.
What was I supposed to say? I was supposed to say no. No.
Okay.
That's not important though. What was I even saying now?
Broad match modified.
No, not even
Right.
modified. So when you put a keyword into Google Ads, it's default broad, and people that try and do it themselves don't realise that, and that gives Google power to kind of get a lot of different searches that they think are relevant to it, but it's never as relevant, and it leads to a lot of wasted budget.
Of course.
Yeah.
So what are broad match modifiers in comparison to that, Cam? You mentioned that.
So a broad match modifier compared to a broad match modifier, you place a plus sign at the beginning of each word. For example, if the keyword is road trainers, if you add a plus sign to the beginning of each word, that's a broad match modified. And in terms of its effectiveness, you get shown for less searches for a broad modified keyword, and you.
It just
It's
expands.
just-
I think it's more so for like expanding out your searches. It's not limited. It's not as broad as a broad,
No.
but it's more limited than an exact match or a phrase match. Is that right?
You're much more likely to waste money, waste clicks on a broad keyword, and that broad keyword could be possibly found for like lots and lots of other synonyms or variations of the same keyword. For example, for red trainers, you may be found for like red heels or
Something that you
red
don't
boots.
actually
Exactly.
want to get. Yeah.
So you don't really want to be found for those search terms.
Completely agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the cost per click and how you can reduce cost per click. And if someone has a very limited budget, a very small budget, for example, £100 a month, or even less than that, £50 a month, and the cost per click itself is around about £6. There are other strategies I use and would recommend for small businesses to make the best of the ROI. And these won't really be like new cold campaigns. These would be more like remarketing strategies.
Right. Yeah.
So using the budget effectively, using the strategy as a remarketing would really, really lower the cost per click. But it also only show adverts to people who are already engaged in your site, people who know who you are. And these are really good for Google in terms of display, or YouTube. But it could also be really beneficial for other marketing channels as well. LinkedIn ads and Facebook ads. Remarketing is quite key.
I think that's a really good point as well. That's a really sort of low sort of cost, low barrier entry to display advertising, and it's a great way for people that have been on your website to just be reminded of you. And especially when you're a small business, you don't have the opportunity to go on like a big billboard or a TV ad. But what you're doing is getting in front of that same person again and again. You might wind them up a little bit by seeing you, but at least you're there in front of them.
Yeah. No, so if you paid £5 to get them on your website, why not pay another 20p to get them back?
Yeah. So I think for small businesses, they need to understand the strategies that are available on these marketing channels, on Google, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. There are opportunities to really reduce your spend and make more money with Google rather than waste more money on Google. And small businesses need to understand, build your audiences, build your lists, keep hold of, if you can, keep hold of email lists. You can use these to populate, remarketing audiences on both Google and Facebook.
Even use lookalike audiences as well on Facebook.
Correct.
Yeah. I think you're right. There's so many ways you can sort of squeeze out that extra bit of like ROI from small budgets, and it's obviously something that we try and do here.
I have another point.
Yeah.
And that's going to be useful for small businesses, and I think this is, in terms of like what businesses should be looking out for and how businesses, should operate the websites, is having good landing pages.
Specific landing pages.
Yeah. So small businesses need to be, in terms of making the most of the money, again, they need to make sure that, they have enough information on the site and that the user journey isn't too long-winded or too difficult to actually complete a sale or complete a contact form. Just making it as easy as possible for their leads, their customers.
Yeah, I think one thing I can't remember who said it, but there's like, friction is the enemy. You want to make it as easy as possible for someone to click on your ad, read a bit of text, understand it is what you do and that what they're looking for, you offer that to them, and then click on maybe one button that leads to a contact form, or if you can have a contact form on that page, or a phone number or whatever it is, however it is you're trying to acquire that lead, but just get them to convert as quickly as possible.
I think Google Ads is like so beneficial because it can test if your website's ready, if your business model is ready instantly. You can say, hey, this is my keyword. People go straight to my website. Do they convert or do they not convert? And why aren't they not converting?
That is very true, and I guess it also gives you the opportunity then to sort of once you know what keywords are working, you can then go back to sort of SEO and working on that side of things if you need to, and seeing if you can bring in that organic traffic. Because if people are searching for something on Google Ads, there's a chance people will be clicking organically as well. So if you can use that to sort of widen your marketing approach, then that's a great way of doing it.
Definitely. Like you said, on SEO, it's a long approach. If you have a new website, it's going to take you a while for you to rank organically. But with Google, it's going to be super helpful for small businesses who are just starting out. People who are starting up, it's going to help them get traffic to the website and possibly sales and possibly new customers straight away.
I don't know if you saw it the other day. So one of my new clients, they just started up. I think it was like Tuesday morning or something, and they had a click, and literally the first click was and it leaded to a phone call, and I was like, "What is going on?" Like that's how immediate it can be. It's crazy. I don't know how long it would take to do that for SEO.
But no, exactly. But also that another part of that is Google enables you to create ad extensions. So to make it even easier for small businesses, for example, the phone call ad extension, people don't even have to visit your website. As long as your ad is easy and it's got good copy, people can just click on the call extension and call your business directly It's that easy.
I mean, you can even use call-only ads. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, or just you know, if they see your advert on a mobile device, they're normally a call extension.
Got you. Yeah, sure. Awesome. So, is there anything else we can sort of think about why Google Ads are so good for small business? I think for me, one thing I'd say is it's so easy to track what return you're getting, or most of the time it's fairly easy to track as long as you've got a website that you can measure conversions in terms of phone calls and form fills. Then you can quite easily sort of match up a particular lead to and how much that's going to cost you, and then if you need to, you can put more money into it. Or if you know, for example, this sort of campaign's not working, let's not spend money on that. Let's put it into something else. It's so visible.
Yeah, that's a great point. And that's like, as opposed to traditional marketing where if you put money towards a radio advert or a TV advert or a newspaper, you know, advert, how will you track the ROI? It's not as easy. It's really hard to track it. When you got Google Ads, when you got an online website, it's much easier. You know, by looking at statistics, looking at your data, that you know your ROI.
Completely agree. But I might be biased. Anything to add, Ollie? Any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. So, does Google Ads work for small businesses?
I think it does.
Yes, it does.
Otherwise,
I was getting to that point.
otherwise we won't have a job, right?
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. A lot of our clients are small businesses.
Not all of them.
A lot of our clients are small businesses. And we're doing pretty well because we've got lots of small business clients.
Yeah.
And they're doing well because it's working for them and they're not leaving us. So it does work for small businesses.
But yeah, I think like you got to think about your strategy. What's your aim? You know, make sure you got a website. Make sure you're doing all the right things. You know, just keeping optimizing. Just keep looking at the data and all these things. It's going to make you a successful campaign.
That's great. Well, I think that wraps it up for this week's. I don't know how often we're doing this podcast. To be fair, this episode of the Repeat Digital podcast. If you would like to find out more about us and how we can help you setting up PPC campaigns on Google or Facebook, then please do get in contact with us or just have a look at our website, repeatdigital.com. And if you think that Google Ads is something that is worth doing for small businesses, let us know in the comments. We'd like to know what you think about these sort of episodes, and it'd be good to get your feedback on it. So until next time, see you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Say bye.